Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. Today we're out riding around the Tundra. I don't drive it a whole lot, so I thought I'd get out and drive it a little bit. And I thought I'd talk about Ford F-150. So, are they really bad trucks? You know, I've got a lot of negative comments on a few of my videos where I talk about F-150s, pro and against. I have to say that I have more negative comments against the F-150 than I do positive comments. But this ain't what that video is about. This video is about if you are dead set on buying an F-150, which one should you buy? Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. I've made several videos on this. I'm not going into this in depth. If you want to do that, I'll link some videos at the end of this and you can go back and watch them. But the EcoBoost. I cannot recommend the EcoBoost. I would say stay as far away from that as you possibly can. You know, it has the issue with the intercooler condensating and stuff like that. Now, I've heard that the newer trucks have fixed that issue. There's like some kind of flap in there that opens and closes to keep it from doing it. And maybe it has. But we do know that that was an issue in the past. Now, did the flaps fix it? Maybe. They glued a big piece of metal on the front of mine to stop it, and that did not fix it. So do I have faith in that they've got it fixed with those flaps? Not at all. So, you know, I can't recommend that. I mean, once you drive the EcoBoost, you're going to be like, wow, this thing is amazing. And I agree. The power and torque that that engine puts out is amazing. Seriously. But I would not recommend that engine. So if you are dead set on buying an F-150, the first thing I would recommend, go with a V8. You know, like I said, we know that was a known issue. I would steer clear of it. I would just go with the 5.0 V8. I had one of those as well. It doesn't have as much torque and horsepower as the EcoBoost, but the only issue I had with that truck mainly was electrical gremlins. You know, that could just be a bad wiring harness or something like that, and I probably just got a dud when I got the 5.0. I've got friends that's got 5.0s that don't have any issues with them, but that would be my first recommendation. Plus, you don't have, you know, turbos going out on you later on in life. Turbos aren't expensive, or I mean aren't inexpensive, sorry. Turbos aren't cheap. That's what I meant to say. So if you have those go out, it's going to be several thousands of dollars to have those replaced. And it's not if they go out, it's going to be when they go out. Because turbos usually don't last, you know, 1,000,000 miles. So, you got to realistically think around 130 to 150,000 miles, you're probably going to be replacing turbos, which is going to be pretty expensive. So you kind of eliminate that problem as well. So I would stick with the V8. Secondly, which package should you go with? Ford has a ton of packages. They have the XLT, like an SLT or something. They have the FX4, the Platinum, the, you know, King Ranch edition. They just have so many different models, and all car companies do that, you know, to get you to, you know, pay more money, essentially. That's why they do it. I mean, I bought a Platinum edition Tundra, so I bought one of the most expensive Tundras you could buy, and why'd I do it? I wanted all these options. Ford's no different. They do it to make a profit. Me personally, I really like the FX4. My first truck, the 5.0, was a Lariat. And, you know, it did have leather and a sunroof and stuff like that. But I really like some of the touches that my EcoBoost gave me. Now, I did have the appearance package in mind. My seats did have like the red trim around them. I did have like the red stitching in the steering wheel. It said FX4 in the dash, and I'm gonna imagine they all say FX4. And like I said, you do get the off-road package with the FX4 and some skid plates and stuff like that. And I do like that package. So my recommendation, if you was going to buy a package for the, you know, which one would you get? I would go with the FX4. Now, I really like the King Ranch. I really like the leather they put in that. I think it looks really good. So if you're looking for like a more classy look and not a sporty look, I'd look at the King Ranch. I do not like the Platinums. I got the Platinum in this truck, but I don't have that great big silver chrome Platinum emblem on the tailgate. of my truck. Toyota didn't do that. And thank you for Toyota for not doing that. I hate that big chrome platinum looking emblem that they put on the tailgates. Nissan does that as well. That's god awful. It doesn't fit in with the truck. I mean, it just looks out of place. And I just wouldn't do it for that. Now, if you like that, do you, man. No issues at all. But for me, it would be the FX4 because I liked how sporty it looked, and then next would be the King Ranch. So if you're going to spend that much money, you might as well spend a little more and get what you want, in my opinion. I mean, it's if you're looking at one of those trucks, you're already looking at $40,000 to $50,000. Just spend the extra $4 or $5 grand and get the one you want. You know, cry once and be done with it. So do you need to lift it? Now this is where I give the F-150 a nod. I don't think they need to be lifted. I mean, they look good lifted, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they need to be lifted. Like the Tundra, I think needs to be lifted. They set low, they look low. That may be an optical illusion, but I think they look low. Mine has a 3-inch lift on it. I think that looks good. I fit 35s underneath it. Had to take some of the front inner fender out, but other than that, we're good to go. But I think it needs to be lifted. So as far as, Chevys, I think Chevys need to be lifted. To look really good, I think they need to be lifted. They just look like they set low. They look like a small truck. And I think to make them look beefy, you need to lift them. Ford, you don't have to do that. That is the one thing I really got to give Ford a nod to. I mean, there's several things I liked about my F-150s, and there's a lot of things I didn't, like it being in the repair shop a lot. But, I put like a size or two larger tires on it when I replaced the tires, and believe it or not, they were like $2 cheaper per tire than the stock factory size, which is originally why I did it. But then it kind of set the truck up a little bit higher and made it look a lot better. So, do I think they really need it? No. I think you can put a size or two larger tire on it and then be good to go with it. So, if you're looking for a truck that, you don't have to spend a ton of money in to actually, I'm parking in case y'all are wondering what I'm doing. In case you don't want to spend a lot of money on like a lift or something, spend thousands of dollars on that, the F-150 is a good truck because it don't need it. There are a few things on F-150s that I would say steer away from also. And if you get like an FX4 or you get like the King Ranch or the Platinum or even the Lariat, you don't have to have this minor complaint I have. And I think we're past this in 2018. I think we're past it. And that is the shifter on the steering column. I hate that. Now you may like it. And if you do, more power to you. I do not like that. I think we're past that. I think that's old school. Shifters should be in the console. They shouldn't be on the steering column. Now, if you get down in like, I think the SLTs and maybe even the XLTs, they've got the bench seat, which if you need a bench seat, that's about your only option. But they've got the bench seat and the shifter on the column. That's another reason I say stay away from those. I just don't like, the shifters on the columns. So, as far as the ride, we've talked about that. I think the Tundra rides better in my opinion. I've owned both. At least my Platinum does. It has the, Lexus grade leather, and it's really nice and supple. It's just nice. But the Ford didn't have a bad ride. I mean, I can't say it's a bad ride. I just like the Tundra better. And that's not me being biased towards this truck because I had issues. I've told you good things and bad things about both vehicles. I just feel like this rides better. But like I said, the Ford didn't ride bad. Now, if you go with a stock Tundra, from what I've heard and from what I've seen and drove myself, you probably need to put an anti-sway bar on it in the rear to make it body not roll so much. In a Ford, I didn't have that issue. I didn't feel that body roll. I didn't have to worry about that body roll. So, that's another thing you don't have to worry about if you buy a Ford. If you're just dead set on buying a Ford, and that's what this video is about, telling you some pros and cons and my opinions on what you should stay away from and what you should kind of go towards. Now, I know Ford has all the tech, and I'm not saying don't get that tech, but in my opinion, just my opinion, tech hurts reliability. That's just something else electronic that can fail. Now, I know people dog out the Tundras because they don't have a lot of tech, and I'm fine with that. Tech is cool though, don't get me wrong. How Ford has that up camera that shows the whole around the truck, I don't even know how they do that. I guess they use GPS and sensors, I don't know, but that's cool, I get it. But 10 years down the road, how cool is that going to be? Is it still going to work? Who knows? Who knows? So that's kind of one of them at your own risk thing. Would I buy it? Yeah, I have to say I'd buy it. I'd want the cool tech. I'd want all the cool stuff. But 10 years down the road, I might regret it. So, you know, but if you get like the FX4 and the Platinum and stuff like that, it's probably going to have that stuff on it. So you're going to get it anyway. So you might as well take it. But just be aware that it probably isn't going to work forever. I'm just saying. But those are some of the things that I would look at if I was going with the F-150. You know, I definitely get a four-wheel drive. I don't buy trucks or SUVs that aren't four-wheel drive, but yet again, I live in the South, and I understand that a lot of people like out in California or Florida or somewhere like that lives in a hot, humid conditions, or Louisiana, you probably don't need four-wheel drives because there's not a lot of snow, first of all, unless you just go off-roading. But a lot of people aren't going to pay $60,000 for a truck and just run it through the bushes and scratch it all to pieces either. So that's something you have to decide. You know, if you live in a state like that, do you really need four-wheel drive or not? So that may dictate exactly what package you can get as well, because they may not offer two-wheel drive in some of those. And you know, the cool thing about it is if you live in one of these states, you can buy an F-150 or a Tundra or whatever it is in two-wheel drive, lift it, put bigger tires on it, get the same look that I have on this or somebody else has on an F-150, and get better gas mileage because you're not four-wheel drive. So you still look four-wheel drive. Nobody's going to know the difference. And you get better gas mileage. If you don't need four-wheel drive, why pay for it? The truck's cheaper, gas is cheaper. Then you've probably saved enough money to put a lift on it. So, you know, that's an option for you people in those states that don't get snow like we do here, or bad weather or whatever it may be. But those are just some things that, you know, that I would look for in an F-150 if I was going to buy one. Now, personally, like I said, I could never own another one because of the two bad experiences I've had with it. Now, I've got tons of friends that have great trucks and never had any issues at all and have several, you know, thousands of miles on them and no issues. So I just got unlucky. But for me, unlucky twice is enough not to be unlucky a third time. I'm not willing to chance it. But if that's what you're looking for, these are my thoughts on stuff that you should look for if you're going to get one of those trucks. So, but I will tell you this, before you go buy an F-150, try some other trucks. You might like them. I mean, you might rather have a Chevy, or you might rather have a Tundra or Nissan, but drive them all. Drive a Dodge, drive everything. Don't just say, I'm going Ford because, you know, my dad owned Ford or my uncle owned Ford, or I've been a Ford man my whole life. And that's kind of what I did. You know, I went with Ford because a lot of my friends and family is all own Fords. And I was like, well, I'm going Ford. That was a mistake in my opinion. I should have drove other vehicles. I like my Tundra better than I do my Ford. I think it steers better and handles better and all that with the lift. And I didn't do that. So if you're dead set on Ford, these are my opinions on it. But do go out and drive other trucks. You never know, you might like one better. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. You can, you know, take my advice or not, but it is what it is. Y'all have a great day. See you next time.